Thank you for joining me. You're greatly appreciated. I want to thank you all for hitting those thumbs up, like, sharing, and subscribing. You're totally greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. It helps these messages get out to others that may need it, and you're so greatly appreciated. I want to thank you all for your kind comments, encouraging and helping others, and connecting with the videos. It really does help, and you're greatly appreciated. So this is going to be a part 2 of You Are Not Crazy, You're Going Through a Spiritual Awakening. I felt like I needed to do a part 2 because the first one was kind of like just scratching the surface and kind of like the milk. And so I just wanted to come on here and give you guys some more examples and things of this nature to help you. So you are not crazy. You're going through a spiritual awakening. Okay, so a lot of you may be noticing a lot of changes in yourself. Like you may have been like myself, that girl, when I went out, my hair was done, I was coordinated, I had my shoes and nails done. I did not leave my house without my jewelry not when I was like working, but when I would go out and do like activities or run errands, I always had my jewelry on, my rings and my bracelets and my earrings. And you may go through a point where these things just aren't as important to you anymore. Yes, you still look nice or decent when you go out, but you may be just okay with like being clean and having clean clothes on and have brushed your teeth and washed your face and put your deodorant and stuff on when you go out. You may just not be as particular when you go out like you used to, where you had to be like dressed to the nines. Some of you who wear makeup, you may have not left the house till your makeup was like done to the T. You may have spent an hour or even for some hours on your makeup before you would even leave the house. And now you notice that you're okay with leaving your house in your natural form as long as your face is clean and you have your moisturizer and your sunscreen on. You're good now. Before, you wouldn't even leave the house without your makeup being done to the T. But now you're okay with just going out and as long as your face is clean and you're fine with like your natural form. Some of you may have been the type to be like, go out and you could have stains on your clothes. Doesn't mean they weren't clean, but you could have stains on your shirt or clothes and holes in them before. And now you're noticing that you don't want to present yourself like that. You are going out more presentable. You want to have clothes that don't have stains on them and that aren't wrinkled and are in more of a proper form or not so disheveled. You may notice these things during your spiritual awakening, these changes in you, that the way you present yourself is more important. A lot of you, when you're out, you may notice people looking at you and you may look around and be like, is there something on my face? Like, do I have a booger? You're like, why are people staring at me, And so some of you may notice that. And it's just because there's this glow to you. There's this light around you. You are shining bright. Even if you may not feel like it at times, you are shining bright. And there's this light and glow around you. And so people are just drawn to it. They notice it. People see your light shine before you do, a lot of the times. Some of you may think you're losing it or going crazy because you might be seeing like orbs. It may look like dust or lit that's floating around sometimes. And you'll be like, I just dusted, I just cleaned, I just vacuumed. And you'll be like, what is that? And you'll be thinking like, am I losing it? Am I going crazy? No, you're not losing it. You're not going crazy. You're seeing what you're seeing. Some of you may see some things when you look up in the sky. Some of you may see the veil being broken. And so some of you are seers in the spiritual world. And your gifts are growing. Your spiritual gifts are growing. So that's why God's starting to show you these things, because a lot of you will be able to see the things in the spiritual world before they are in the physical world. And so a lot of times through your purpose or your gifts, you may be able to help stop or prevent these things if they're negative and happening in the physical, for people or yourselves, etc., because you're a seer. So, and with time, your gifts will advance as God's working on you, and they'll progress, and you'll learn how to use them to help others. A lot of you may be hearing things and maybe thinking you're losing your mind. What are you hearing? And a thing that we have to understand is there's God's voice, there's our voice, and then if you can hear God, you can hear the enemy. There's the enemy's voice. So you'll learn how to discern these voices in your head, and God will show you this through the process. And you'll learn how to use these things, these voices, and understand what you're supposed to do in helping yourself and others. A lot of you may be, scents. You might all of a sudden smell this like flower or sweet scent around you, and you'd be like, I don't have any candles lit. I didn't just clean with, some type of scented cleaner. And you'll be like, what is that? And you'll just sometimes notice it out of the blue, out of nowhere once in a while. And it'll be like flowery, a sweet smell or scent, very perfumey. That's the angels around you. The angels are protecting you, and they're guiding you, and they're letting you know, God sent the angels to guide and protect you, and they're letting you know that they're around you. Because sometimes, it's a hard process, and they're trying to encourage you through the process and things of this nature. Some of you may have gone to the doctor because of certain illnesses. Maybe all of a sudden you're having certain food allergies. Some of you may be having ringing in the ears, and you may be getting these things checked out, and there's no medical diagnosis that they can come up with because of it. It's because of your spiritual awakening. When you go through the spiritual awakening, sometimes there's just certain foods and things that just you cannot eat or even smell. Like the smell, your smell senses will be very much heightened. And certain smells will make you sick. And certain foods will make you sick. And the ringing in your ear, it can mean many, many different things. And I'll give you a few of the examples. Ringing in your ear can be that God and the angels are telling you, pay attention. Pay attention to what they're trying to tell you, what they're speaking to you. It could be pay attention to, depending on the situation or circumstance you're in, pay attention to what this person's saying, whether it's good or bad, It could also mean, listen. It also could be that they're saying, hey, pay attention to your thoughts. Exactly. Pay attention to your thoughts. Are you having negative thoughts? Are you having positive thoughts? It could be them trying to tell you, if you're thinking negative thoughts, please stop those negative thoughts, because we don't want those to manifest, Another thing is with the ringing in the ear, it's, and these are just a few examples. With the ringing in the ear, it's the angels are protecting your energy. They're protecting your energy, or they're telling you to do something to raise your vibration, to raise your energy, to do something you love or enjoy, or take your mind off whatever negative thoughts that you're thinking, to stop those negative thoughts and, think of something good or positive or happy in your life that you are enjoying or love or appreciate. A lot of you may notice that, for some of you may not even have pets, and you may even be considering having a pet. Some of you may have pets and notice that you're wanting to spend more time at home and with your pets. And a lot of you are noticing that you want to spend more time at home and, alone. And it's just time that God's wanting you to put aside to spend with Him, so that he can work, so God can work on these things in you, and so that you don't have all these outside negative voices, people telling you who you are and who you can be and who you can't be and what you can do and what you can't do and things of this nature. A lot of you are prayer warriors. You may notice that you've been guided to like watch the news more or pay attention to things that are going on in the world and your environment, and you may feel guided and led to pray for yourself, your family members, and others, because a lot of you are prayer warriors. Oh, and another thing about the ringing of the ear, there was something else they wanted me to tell you. The ringing of the ear. Sometimes and there's different tones of it too. You'll notice that there's different tones. Sometimes it's your pineal gland being opened. Your gifts are growing, and so that's why your ears are ringing. You're raising your vibration. You're going from the 3D to the 4D, the 4D to the 5D, things of this nature. And so it's many different reasons. It's also sometimes that on the negative end, depending on the tone, sometimes it's spiritual warfare that's going on or trying to go on against you, or someone is speaking negatively or trying to do things negatively against you. And you'll learn all these things as you grow with your gifts and as you allow God to work on you through the process. And another thing, how you can connect with the message or connect with what God is doing through you and working through you is when you're in prayer or when you're just talking to God. Say, God, I am willing, able, and ready. Please use me as you see fit. Please use me as a vessel. Things of this nature. I am ready to fulfill my purpose. Things of this that are things that you can say when you're in prayer and when you're talking to God, to kind of start to enhance those gifts. Another thing is, asking for forgiveness for God for the things that we've done wrong and the sins that we've done in our life. That helps you to heal and start to be more open to receive these gifts. Forgiveness from God, forgiveness from yourself, and forgiveness from others. Forgiveness from yourself and others as well is so important. It helps with your healing, and it helps the process be not so hard on you. Some of you may be like going through other health issues where you feel like you're having panic attacks and you can't breathe and things of this nature. And so a good way to help those is exercising to help overcome these and make it a little bit easier through the process is exercising, eating healthy, getting out in nature, getting some sun. At least try to do 10 to 15 minutes, in some sun. Please wear your sunblock. Please wear your sunblock. But yes, I got to remind myself of that too sometimes. Sometimes I just try to run out there and I'm like, oh no, I need to put my sunblock on. Or wear protective clothing. But yes, these things will help kind of cleanse your energy, help with the healing process, and help it not be such as a tough spiritual awakening process, because it will affect you, some more than others, physically as well as mentally, and because your spirit's trying to overcome the flesh. And another thing is whatever God's guiding you to do, because God will guide us in so many ways. I talk about this a lot, and I know you're going to hear it a lot with me. It is what it is, and different people see the videos at different times. So I just really need to express this. But, even through comments from people, I've learned things. And I'm going to get that into a deeper video later, but into comments from people, discussions that you have with people, TV shows, movies, music, the Bible, prophetic messages or messengers that you may come across, things of this nature. Is how God speaks to us a lot, and always test the spirit on every message that you get, okay? Please and thank you. And so A lot of you are, may think that you're crazy because you're seeing some of these things, but you're not going crazy. You're going through a spiritual awakening. Um, Again, I am not a doctor, so if you think you need to seek some type of therapy or see a psychiatrist, of course, please do. It may help you. But if you're doing these things and you've gone to the doctors and you've seen therapists and they're not able to explain some of these situations that you were having and may still be having, really pray on it. Ask for discernment and wisdom and confirmation, and God will give it to you. Okay? God will give it to you. So one time I saw something in the sky and I was in my living room and I was just sitting on the couch and I was watching a show, and for whatever reason I looked up in the sky, and this is when like all my stuff, my spiritual awakening and all this and my spiritual encounter started to happen, right? And I just happened to look up at the sky, look out the window in my living room, and I saw something. Oh my goodness, and it scared the crap out of me. I saw the veil being broken and I jumped out of the living room couch and I like kind of hid from the window like this, and I was really scared, you guys. And I stayed there for a little bit, I don't know, maybe a couple minutes, and then I peeked out and it was still there, you guys. And I like jumped back again and I was like, oh my goodness, am I losing my mind? Whoa, what is going on? And then I stayed there for a minute and then I looked out again and it was gone, right? And so later I learned that it was the veil being broken. And so some of you may be experiencing these things. Just, you are not crazy. You're going through a spiritual awakening. Your gifts are being enhanced, and you're going to start fulfilling your purpose and using those gifts for God's work and to help others. And so I know it's not an easy process, so try to be patient with yourself. Some of you may be noticing that you're just wanting to get rid of stuff, like, all out of the blue, you're being guided to like get rid of things, old clothes, and you may be guided to get rid of some things in your house. Like, I know I had angels around, statues of like angels in my house, and I had like a Last Supper picture, and I was guided to get rid of those things. And of course I learned that you're not supposed to have graven images, and I didn't look at it that way, but and so you can pray and ask God to give you discernment and wisdom and guidance on what you need to purge and get rid of in your home and in your house and in your life, and God will. And you may notice that you're going to start going through your house and you're like getting rid of things, you may be going in your bedroom and your closet and in your drawers and getting rid of certain clothes. You may notice that you just don't want to be as revealing, for females, as revealing in some clothes. You still may have some cute little things that you wear, but you just may not be exposing your body as much, and you just may notice that you're changing the way you dress, and you may notice that you're wanting to be more natural and things of this nature. And you may just wanting to get organized in your life, whatever it may be. You may just be noticing that you're just going through your house and you're getting rid of old things. It's not just clothes, but you may just wanting to like, what's that word? Where you're condensing things. You just may not need, you get rid of stuff you may not need or want anymore. And a lot of times this is to make room for the new that's coming in for you. So you just may notice these things, that you may just wanting to get more organized. You may notice yourself wanting to clean more. Cleanliness is godliness. And you may just be noticing you wanting to keep up with your house and stuff more. And then you do go through a phase where you're just like content, where you're just good. Like I did go through a phase where, I was clean and I brushed my teeth, but like I didn't care as much as wearing, I wasn't getting my nails done anymore. I used to get my nails done like every 2 weeks, and I noticed I wasn't wanting to get my nails done anymore. And I would go out and really not care as much. I was clean, but I didn't really care as much as like how I looked and presented myself at times. It was a phase. You can go through these different phases depending on, the process and your transition, because, we're all different. And then you may change back to where, you're back at it and you do care about certain things. You may learn that, God doesn't want you to do certain things and you'll stop doing those things, but you'll still care about, how you present yourself and how you show up and things of that nature. And so I really wanted to emphasize that, like, this is part of the process, that you're learning and growing and changing things, and God's guiding you through this process. And a lot of you are going to learn that your purpose, you're going to start fulfilling your purpose. It's so different for so many people. Some could be teachers, some could help the homeless, some could be prophets, evangelists, ministers, some can be missionaries. It's just so many things. Doctors, nurses. It just varies for everyone, right? And so this is just kind of like your growing process, and your gifts are being awakened. And if you notice, there's a lot going on. And so there's a lot going on. And so God's really calling out his soldiers and, his prophets and all his people, his children. God's calling his children to get out and do their part and fulfill their purpose, because time is getting short and the enemy has heightened his agenda. And so God's really asking for his people to get out there and do their part and fulfill their purposes. And this is why some of these things are happening to you, because it's the starting of you learning your gifts and fulfilling your purpose. And you're going to go through this process and learn a lot. God's going to guide you through so many different ways, through confirmations of prophetic messages and messengers, people you speak to, the Bible. God's going to guide you through the Bible. The Bible's a living word. God will guide you through the Bible, and you'll feel it. You'll know that it's for you, the message or the thing that God wants you to do or not to do, or to change in your life, etc. And I hope I got it all. And you may just notice some of these things, that you're just, when you go around certain people, things may happen. Like, that's the God's way of showing you, like, God may have already given you some signs and flags. And, none of us are perfect. Sometimes we miss them. Sometimes we think we're being paranoid and things of this nature when we're not. But sometimes, we can think that. And so if you're going around certain people and things keep happening negatively, like you're getting injured, you're getting hurt, you're getting sick, you'll just notice these things. That means God is asking you to stay away from these people and not to please be hanging around these people. There was one more thing. You just may be noticing some of these things when you're around people. You may notice that, you used to turn up with certain people on the weekend. This is it. You may be used to turning up with certain people on the weekends. You used to have your guys' night out or ladies' night out, and you may notice that you just don't want to go to the club anymore. You cannot turn up like you used to. You used to be able to get lit, and you used to be able to just take it to the head, and you cannot do that anymore. You just notice you are sick and you can't consume as much alcohol as you used to. You just get wasted way quicker, too easily, or sick too quicker, too easily, or that hangover lasts way longer than it ever did, and it's way worse than it ever did. You may notice in relationships that you're just not wanting to be in the hookup scene. Of course, God doesn't want us fornicating anyway, but you may be noticing you're getting convicted of these things, that you just don't want to be in the hookup scene anymore. Those one-night stands, those friends with benefits, relationships, and things of this nature, just they're not satisfying you anymore. They're not fulfilling you. They probably never really were, but they're really not doing it for you anymore. And you may just notice that you are looking for something so much deeper, like more of a bond, and you're just looking for more of a bond and a deeper relationship with individuals, whether it's with in significant other relationships or things of this nature, or even friendships and whatnot. You're just looking for more, something deeper, And so these are just some examples and symptoms and things that you may go through during your spiritual awakening and process. And it's just to help you understand you are not alone. I've gone through many of these things. I'm going through some of these things still. And there's lots of other people who are going through it as a whole right now. And God is with you. God is guiding you. Just allow God to guide your footsteps and connect with God and say, God, I am willing, able, and ready. Please use me as you see fit. God, I am ready to fulfill my purpose. Whatever you feel in that nature to connect with the spiritual purpose of yours, whatever it may be. And don't be so hard on yourself, because it's not an easy process. Some go through harder symptoms than others, physically, mentally, emotionally. Again, it's your spirit overcoming your flesh. And please be obedient, whatever God's guiding you to stop doing, to let go, to heal from, to forgive yourself or others, or ask for forgiveness from God for. Please do, because it helps the process. Trust me, I've been there. That's why I'm here, to help you guys not make it as difficult or more difficult than it has to be. So I understand. Trust me, I understand. And a lot of you, I just wanted to come on here and just remind you that you are not crazy. You're just going through a spiritual awakening. Especially if you've gone to the doctor and, you've had these things checked out. I think it's tinnitus, the ear thing that they talk about. You've gone to the doctor and you've had these things checked out, and they're saying that there's no medical reasoning behind it. Or you've gone to the doctor and, you've had other things checked out due to some of the symptoms you're having, and they're saying that everything's fine, and there's nothing that they have been able to prove that may be wrong with you. This is what's going on with you. You are not crazy. You're going through a spiritual awakening. And again, I am not a doctor, so if you feel the need, you can get these, go to the doctor. Please still do your physicals and keep up with your yearly physicals or your yearly checkup and visits that are recommended for you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to explain some of the things that are maybe going on due to a spiritual awakening, okay? So I think that was most of it. And again, this is just some of them, just giving you some examples of things that you may be going through, or symptoms that you may be having, and some reasonings behind it. Your gifts, your spiritual gifts are enhancing, and it's time for you to start fulfilling your purpose. And God's wanting to really spend time with you, and especially if you're feeling like you're just content with being on your own, and you're good with being alone. God's really trying to reach you and do his work through you, and get you to hear him and learn the ways that he speaks, and learn the ways that God speaks to you, things of this nature. And it'll get to a point where you're maybe crying at first because you're by yourself, and you'll be maybe like, oh, I'm alone, I'm so sad, bored and lonely, and all this stuff of that nature, right? And then it gets to a point where you're like, oh, I'm good, I feel good, I'm so content, just sitting in the park, or sitting in my backyard, or sitting on my porch or my patio, or just enjoying my pets and being content at home. I'm good on my own. And then it may come to a point where you feel like you're getting pushed out back into the world and you're like, oh no, I'm not ready. After you cried and kicked and moaned and groaned and screamed about being alone, and then now it's like, you might feel that nudge or pushed like, oh, it's time to get back out there. And you might be like, oh, I'm not ready. You're going to have, I'm going to have to be, you're going to have to drag me. I'm going to go out kicking and screaming now to go back out. When I was kicking and screaming because I was alone. It's just a process. So just be patient with yourself. Please remember to stay humble. God wants us to stay humble. Don't let pride and greed take over. Please be kind through the process as much as possible. And again, please stay humble, stay obedient, be kind, and don't let pride and greed take over. Don't let your ego take over, okay? So I just wanted to come on here and encourage you all and give you some of these signs, symptoms, some encouragement, let you know you're not alone. There are other people going through these things in different, forms, and you can do it. You'll get through it. Just stay prayed up, stay aligned, try to keep your vibration high. I know it's not always easy. My vibration goes up sometimes and sometimes it goes down, and I'm reminded, bring it back up. You gotta, so we can stay aligned and through the process, because it makes it easier. And I just wanted to come on here and encourage you all that you can do it. Don't give up. Don't beat yourself up. And you are not crazy. You're going through a spiritual awakening. So I love you all. Prayers and blessings to all. Bye.